So we went through a lot throughout the course of this series. Initially, we looked at object-oriented programming, and if you're used to procedural programming in Drupal 7, then you made a huge leap forward, not just in working with Drupal, but in working with code in general. And then we jumped into looking at a framework called Symfony, which Drupal 8 uses as kind of its foundation, but Symfony also stands on its own. So everything you learned about Symfony is going to be useful to you for Drupal 8, but also in general for any projects that you decide to build that maybe don't fit within the Drupal 8 framework. And then from there, we looked at how Drupal 8 actually uses Symfony. We looked at the event dispatching, we looked at the dependency injection container, and various other components of Symfony that we explored earlier. In that section, we got a clear picture of one part of what we need to learn in order to work with Drupal 8. And as we talked about in a previous video, there are three main sections of knowledge that you'll leverage in order to work with Drupal 8. The first is your knowledge from working with previous versions of Drupal. So a lot of the concepts carry over from Drupal 7 and Drupal 6. The second group of knowledge has to do with using Symfony inside of Drupal. And that was what the majority of the first part of this series was really building up to. And the third and final part are pieces of knowledge that are specific to Drupal 8. So things like using plugins and annotations, how the updated block and form systems work, and how to use Twig. And that's what the last part of this series was all about. So at this point, even though Drupal 8 isn't released at the time that we're recording these videos, the knowledge that you've built up in working through these videos will prepare a solid foundation for once Drupal 8 is released and you're actually building practical projects. I think you'll be surprised at just how much of what you've learned here applies to that process. I hope you had a good time throughout this series and that you are excited about using Drupal 8 because there's so much in Drupal 8 to be excited about. I look forward to filling any gaps in future Drupal 8 series. Until then, good luck with Drupal 8 and congratulations on making it through